G'day, this is Gary007 and welcome to my channel. If you like this sort of content, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification and leave a like and a comment below. That'd be really awesome. So we're going to talk about TBC gold sinks and an inflation to the economy. So this is a really touchy subject that everybody seems to be truly aware of when it comes to TBC gold and what's going to happen to the economy once you start letting players out of Classic or rush through the portal. What's going to happen to the price of goods in TBC? Now, I'm going to just talk about my own experience, right? I'm just going to go off a little bit to start off with this topic. Now, I've been playing on a private server, and this is what I've experienced when it comes to gold. Making gold in TBC is actually quite easy. It's not that hard or not that difficult to do so. In fact, I'm guessing that the majority of the player base, once they go through the portal, they're going to head straight for dungeons and do dungeon dive all the way to 70. They'll go as far as they can, and they're just going to do dungeons. It's going to be the easiest route to get to 70, and also do your car achievements. And also, it's not as competitive as being out in the world of Outland. Everybody knows when you look at Outland, doesn't have the ability or the capacity to take on the amount of players that are going to go through that portal. I mean, I don't think it was ever designed with that intention of having, I don't know, millions of players playing TBC. I don't know how the sharding is going to work and how divided it's going to be. But even if they did their best to do that, Outland is still going to be a clusterfuck. I should have said that, but it's going to be a mess. And you know that, right? So you've had experience playing TBC, I don't know, 10 years ago, 12 years ago. So it's not hard to actually farm gold in TBC. So if you did the dungeon grind, like I said, to 70, and then you decided to go back and farm some gold for your mount. So this is what I did with my rogue, right? So I got the 70, and then I decided, right, I don't have 5,000 gold. I'm a bit of a pauper, right? I don't get into grinding. I hate grinding. So I just went back and did normal quests and Ziggurat. I like the place, so I like to go in there and also gain a bit of rep. And also then I went to Blades Edge Mountain, I think it is, and then I went in there and did some quests in there also. So the quests themselves, when you go back at 70, they give you a lot more gold than if you were to do it at the respectable level. On top of the items that obviously drop off trash mobs and all the rest of it, you end up making 20 gold per quest turn in a lot of the time. So it doesn't take long to accumulate gold. So how long did it take me to accumulate 1,000 gold in TBC by just regularly doing quests? Going back and doing regular quests. It took me about 3 days. 3 days to gain that much gold. And that's not a lot, right? And I don't plan on getting my epic mount anytime soon. I'm just doing my car achievements. I don't get out of my way to get motes of fire or do the optimal farming route. I'm just your average Joe. So if I can do that in 3 days and get 1,000 gold, imagine what's going to happen when you've got 1 million people coming through that portal that have 5 to 6k gold average, and they are set up to get going and buy the epic mount immediately. So an epic mount costs 5,000 gold. By the time they get to 70, they'll be able to afford the epic mount, and they'll have a lot more gold left over to spend on whatever they like. The problem of TBC, and I'll say this and I'll be honest, there isn't enough gold sinks. There's nothing to really do with your gold unless you're heavily into a tailoring or blacksmithing or anything like that, where you're relying on buying goods from an auction house in order to make up. Be a weaponsmith, or tailoring where you need to buy primals and all the rest of it. So that is the only real big gold sink that there is in the game. So with that many people coming into the game carrying a lot of gold, there'll be people that have legit gold, right, that really legit go out farming in the world. And then there are people that legit cannot be bothered and just buy gold from gold websites. And that's where the whole GKP thing comes into it, and mage boosting. Not every mage is a mage booster. I don't want to get shot by saying my own opinion, but a lot of them are gold sellers in themselves, right? The economy is going to be ruined. So in order to buy goods, in order to make stuff, there's just not going to be enough to spend it on. I mean, you've got repair bills, which is not a lot. You've got vendor purchases, which is going to be Well, what's that to someone that's got 10k gold? Training fees, like 50 gold to somebody that's sitting on 10k, respecking every 5 minutes. It's not going to mean anything, you know what I mean? And then you've got people that wanting to dominate the auction house. And playing the auction house is its own little mini game for a few players in the community who like to do that sort of thing. I tried to do it. I'm no good at it. But there are people that are legit, are wanting to go in and dominate the auction house from day one in TBC, right? So they want to have a name for themselves. It's their own personal taste on the game. Fair enough, and I don't have any problem with that. I don't think Blizzard is going to enact any of these solutions that people have come up with. And the solutions that people seem to keep coming up with is limiting gold coming through the portal, so people will have a limited amount of gold that they can spend from the get-go. The problem is, even if they limited it, you discriminate against people who legit farmed it, right? So let's say you got 5k gold and you come through that portal. To me, you can easily farm and maintain that sort of gold bracket without breaking a sweat. Gold is a lot easier to accumulate in TBC than you think it is, especially compared to Classic, right? And then you've got the problem of the player base. And the player base is the real issue, and the mentality of buying gold to begin with to get ahead. You might see something on the auction house like primals, and the inflated price might be 1 to 2k. Normally they should sit around the 200 gold mark on a normal economy, but with an inflated economy, the prices of goods are going through the roof. And in order for people to purchase those sort of goods, people might buy gold to try and make their tailoring patterns and all the rest of it. So the change really starts from the player base change to see whether or not they think it's acceptable to go out and buy gold. And then you got another issue, and that is that Outland is not huge. It's not massive, and you're going to have a lot of mafia groups, and you're going to have a lot of bots, people that are going to be botting motes of fire, motes of water, motes of air, earth. Well, I mean, some of them aren't worth as much as others, but you're going to have mafia mobs controlling the market, and you'll end up with a Black Lotus situation on many fronts when it comes to motes of fire, I think, where people there isn't enough places for people to farm these motes, and the area is not big enough for everybody, right, to be able to go farm these primals and these motes of fire and all the rest of it. Say if you don't want to buy off the auction house and you decide to farm it yourself, good luck trying to get a spot on that rotation. I mean, I was a herbalist in Classic, mate. I had absolutely an awful time with very limited resources. I'm not saying that's a bad game design. I'm just saying that Blizzard is not likely to ban gold sellers. They'll probably ban people that buy gold, but gold sellers and botting is a huge issue that Blizzard needs to get on top of in order to keep the economy healthy. That's one of the root issues that Blizzard needs to sort of get in and stop botting. But I mean, if they didn't stop it in Classic, I'm not holding my breath that they're going to stop it coming into TBC. What are the solutions to the inflation of gold? There aren't many very good ones. You've got one, which is introducing well tokens, which some people might think it's a slippery slope. Legit mounts into TBC where you could buy it for 5,000 gold or 10,000 gold, like a spectral tiger or something. I don't know. That we're in the game in TBC. That could be a gold sink. But these gold sinks that I'm talking about, like epic mounts and stuff like that, they're actually just one-time gold sinks. They're not a continuous gold sink like repairs and stuff like that. What about dual speccing? I like it. I'm fully supportive of dual spec within TBC because I know the headaches of trying to find a tank and a healer 3 months into TBC. They'll be demanding that you pay them to tank a dungeon and stuff like that because they don't have any need to go into dungeons anymore. As a tank, there's no need for tanks to go and do low level dungeons anymore, so they'll be requesting primal mites, and they'll be requesting foul armaments and reputation stuff be reserved for them. And that's where I think anyway, I'm going off on a tangent, but that's where I think dual speccing and making it a reasonable cost is one option, but I cannot see that Blizzard will do that because that will take a bit of work. The other is to reset the economy. So if you reset the economy, you put everybody on an even playing field. Problem I have with that is, well, the average Joe like myself, right? I don't farm gold, so I feel like I'm getting punished to play the game over again. Now let's say that we all went along and said, well, let's reset the economy. Now think about it. Did it change the player mindset? Has it changed Blizzard's ability to stop gold farmers. I mean, they haven't been addressed. You can reset the economy 10 times, and if Blizzard doesn't address botting and gold farming and gold sellers, then you're really back to square one. But yeah, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the whole process, but I do believe that we will see an inflated economy rather quickly in TBC. I think the only thing that's going to hold off the inflation to some point will be the amount of alts people have that bring over to TBC. So at the moment, I'm assuming, like, I've got 3 characters sitting at 60, right? 2 of them one's Alchemist and one's a Tailorer. None of that had to do with TBC or getting ready for TBC. It was just my own personal thing that I was doing for Classic. I always wanted to sort of get tailoring up. That was one thing, a goal that I wanted to do that I never did back in the day. In Alchemy, I always wanted to do Alchemy because I liked the idea. It was pretty cool. So none of those were actually, they were only personal goals, you know, and for me to personally use on my characters. It wasn't to make money or anything like that. However, there's going to be a lot of people that don't think like me that will have a lot of alts to obviously sell a lot of their items on auction house, which will drive the price down somewhat to some degree. But then inflation will creep over, I think, and it's going to overtake pricing, and pricing will end up being, it's going to be out of control. And if you want to try and farm a lot of these mats, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle to do that with the botting issue in TBC. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. And yeah, all right, I'll see you out in Outland someday. Okay then, bye.